That venerable crime-fighting institution, Scotland Yard, wants some good lookers to join its ranks. No, not more beautiful people, but police officers who never forget a face. They're called super recognisers, a tiny percentage of us who have the ability to distinguish and differentiate one person's face from millions of others, even if that face has only been seen once or even years or decades before. The results of the Yard's elite squad with an eye for detail are so remarkable, police forces around the world, including Australia, are taking a closer look. For criminals, it now means there are very few places to hide. He could be just another face in the crowd. But James Rabbit is a cop, a very special kind of cop. He's a super recogniser, a recruit to the new and elite squad of Scotland Yard detectives whose extraordinary ability to identify faces has revolutionised the fight against crime. How many identifications have you made since becoming the super recogniser?
Since I've been up on the super recogniser unit here for 10 weeks, and I think I'm up to nearly 250 now.
In 10 weeks?
In 10 weeks.
It's pretty satisfying, isn't it?
Well, that's really satisfying, you know, and I think you join the police to lock up bad guys, don't you? And I certainly did.
James, I have photographs of 3 people here.
Yep.
This is the first lady. And to check his superpowers, James has agreed to be tested. That's long enough for you to see that?
I've had a look at it. We'll find out, won't we?
With very little to go on, James will have to spot targets we've planted in London's crowded Leicester Square. Do you need to see these at all again, or you're right?
No, I think I'm okay. You?
I'm not.
So the competition begins, yeah?
Okay. We'll find out soon how he does. But at Scotland Yard, it's clear the super recognisers, who spend hours every day looking through mugshots and watching grainy CCTV footage, are turning traditional police methods upside down. Hundreds of criminals, from rioters and pickpockets to rapists and murderers, have been identified and convicted. What a gift to have in policing.
Well, it's wonderful in policing. I mean, here in London, I estimate we've got something like 1 million CCTV cameras, so we capture about 3,000 images per month of suspects committing crime. And somebody's got to look at those photographs and say, number one, who it is, and number two, if they're in any other pictures, so we can arrest them for several crimes. But the fact there's a witness in the back, he doesn't care, does he? He's still doing a little child.
The old-fashioned copper who came up with this very new-fashioned idea is Detective Chief Inspector Mick Neville, who runs the super recogniser squad from the heart of Scotland Yard. What is a super recogniser?
Well, the scientists tell us it's about 1% of the population of human populations, and they're not just police officers, who've got some fantastic ability to recall faces. So most people see a face and they just forget it, whereas the super recognisers, the best, just simply do not forget people. So even people they've met in very fleeting chance meetings, or maybe they'd seen them at the cinema 10 years ago, they don't forget the face.
Thousands of images of suspects now arrive at the super recogniser unit every month to be studied, filed away in a mysterious compartment in the brain, and unlocked instantly by even the most fleeting image from a crime scene. Better than any machine.
Your viewers will know. They'll go to the airport and perhaps they've got an e-passport. They stand there in perfect lighting, perfect angle, it's comparing, perfect photograph, and sometimes it doesn't work, even in that circumstance. So at this moment, the super recognisers, the humans are far better than the machines, and we estimate that for every 1,000 identifications, 1 comes from a machine.
Thank goodness, huh? Good news.
On the other side of it's much better, is that the computer cannot give evidence, whereas an officer can say, I know this person, I recognise the lump on his ear and the spot on his face. So not only is it better at the identification, it's actually far, far better evidence.
Suburb after suburb became a new battleground as mobs of young people ran riot.
It was the 2011 London riots that convinced the top brass at Scotland Yard to form a specialist unit. When super recognisers combed through 200,000 hours of CCTV footage to identify hundreds of suspects, even those who tried to conceal their identity, including one man police had last encountered 6 years before.
So this is the case of Stephen Prince. You see his black guy here wearing a red bandana. He attacks another guy, robs him. It looks like a camera. And if you just look now, you just catch there, and that's where PC Gary Collins identified from that little bit of his face there.
That
So
moment?
That moment,
That's like 1 second.
Yeah.
That glimpse to recognise this man. There's another huge benefit from the work of the super recognisers.
He's gone into all these shops, shown them a knife or a meat cleaver.
Instead of being prosecuted for just one offence, perpetrators are now being identified at the scene of previous crimes, sometimes dozens of offences years apart.
He's an absolutely brutal and wicked offender, but he was linked together by the super recognisers, spotting the different images.
So you see him once and you're able to
What-
connect him to other crimes?
Well, there's 16 crimes, as it was correct, but this is what the super recognisers can achieve.
And how many more crimes do you think you've helped solve since joining the super recognisers?
Personally, I don't know, a couple of hundred.
In how long a period?
Probably within the last 3 months. Yeah, I was in...
One
domestic
case
violence.
super recogniser Andy Isles helped to solve was the murder of a 14-year-old schoolgirl, Alice Gross. So this is the day she's gone missing. That is Alice.
And it's her walking across a bridge on the canal.
The super recognisers finally spotted Alice from among 500,000 hours of CCTV vision from around London.
And looking at this footage, we found a male cycling behind her a couple of minutes later.
That's the first image you see of who turns out to be the attacker.
That's correct, yeah.
That shot turned out to be the key.
That's him there cycling away from the park.
Right.
Got him onto another camera, found him into this shop, in a corner shop buying some beer.
And that's the first clear image you have of him?
Yes, that's when we said that's our suspect.
And when you see a face in the crowd, in all of this CCTV footage or images that you're looking at, what's your reaction?
I don't know, it just sort of comes to you. It's just like everyone else sort of blurs out. You just like, I know who that person is. Yeah, it's good. It's a good feeling.
You feel like you've hit the jackpot.
Yeah, yeah.
So good have the super recognisers become that many criminals are taking extra precautions to disguise themselves. That's given rise to an even more advanced technique, identifying you solely from the way you walk. No two people walk the same?
No two people walk the same. You are distinct by the way you walk.
You can't see your face.
It's called gait recognition. And Professor Mark Nixon, a biodynamic expert, has been studying it for years, ever since he saw CCTV pictures of little Jamie Bolger, British 2-year-old, led away to his death by 2 10-year-old boys.
You have that video, they're walking away from the camera. You can't see their faces. All you can see is the way they walk.
And that's where you began?
And that's where we began our series of research. Yeah?
So it is as valuable as a fingerprint or your DNA?
Absolutely, yeah. We need ways of identifying you. Gait is one of those things.
So what we do is we then label points on the body.
Professor Nixon has built his own gait chamber, where multiple cameras create a 3D image that turns an individual's walk into a set of numbers.
It's almost like putting my skeleton on the outside.
Absolutely, yeah. And that set of numbers is unique for you, but different from everybody else.
Even when I disguise my face, the computer compares my walk with thousands of others in its database and recognises me and my gait, which has its own distinction.
When you look at it, actually, hang on, look at your leg there. Now, when you're coming down, it's swinging out.
I know.
And it seems to be different from the other leg.
It's almost like it's not connected properly.
Don't worry, I'm
like
sure it's connected properly.
It is, I know it is, but it looks like a bit of a lazy leg.
Gait recognition has already helped solve a murder in Australia.
Bridget O'Toole survived an attack by an armed robber, but she saw her husband Dermot murdered.
When Melbourne jewellery store owner Dermot O'Toole was stabbed to death in his shop, the killer made sure to hide his face from the cameras.
But the guy comes in and then he attacks the shopkeeper and murders him. It's revolting, OK? But how are you going to catch the guy? You cannot see his face. He's got a hoodie on, he's got a pair of specs on, he's covered everything up. There's very little you can see.
But trawling back over hours of footage, detectives found this.
Yeah, this is earlier in the day, yeah? The chap, here he comes in. He walks exactly the same path, yeah? Now he's got a pair of shorts and a T-shirt, so he looks like a different guy. But that's to your human vision.
What wasn't different was his walk.
You've got the man, an
The
identical
match
gait.
was so good that we could say we are confident that the identities of these two people are the same.
The suspect, Gavin Perry, pleaded guilty to the murder and was sentenced to 20 years in jail. The super recognisers are now acknowledged within Scotland Yard, along with fingerprints and DNA, as the third arm of police forensics with better results. So, back in Leicester Square, the expectation is that James Rabbit won't let the side down.
James, I have photographs of 3 people here.
Yep.
This is the first lady. No, I should say I haven't seen these people either.
Okay, right.
You and I are both going to search to just highlight how clever you are.
Oh my gosh.
This is the second lady. And this is the third person who's a man, obviously. And there is one other surprise guest, and that is our driver whom you saw fleetingly yesterday.
A couple of days ago, yeah,
Yes.
that's right, yeah.
He's apparently here somewhere as well.
Okay, right.
Okay, so...
As we set out, the sea of hundreds of faces passing by is daunting.
Oh my God.
But James seems calm. And amazingly, he tells me he remembers one face in the crowd even before he saw the photos.
There was a chap that came past with a grey top and blue sleeves on when we first came out.
And before I know it, he spots him.
This chap here in the grey with the blue sleeves is the one that I saw originally,
yes,
and I believe
yes,
him to be the
yeah.
man that we're looking for.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello there.
You're the man we're trying to identify?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Well
brilliant.
done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You take care now.
Thank you. I didn't get that at all.
I saw him originally,
You did,
and I
yeah.
thought I was looking at him.
And as I lag behind,
Hello. Good
Excuse
afternoon.
me.
it doesn't take long for James to find the next person.
We think we've identified you as one of the people we're looking for.
Exactly. So we have?
You have.
Okay.
Hey.
Excellent.
And the next.
There's the driver.
Well done.
Excuse me, sir.
me, sir.
Excuse me. Hello there. How you doing?
I know you owe me money, do I?
No, you don't know.
He got you.
Well done.
Yeah.
This is a really difficult one from the side.
Yeah.
Impossible for me, and hardest to pick, is the woman we've seen only from a side shot.
It's just similar to this lady here.
Yes, yes.
Excuse me. Hello there. How are you doing? You all right? James Rabbit. I believe I'm looking for you this afternoon. Is that right?
Yeah. Hello.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Well done.
Hey.
Super recognisers do know what they're looking for. So watch out. The cops who never forget a face. criminal's worst nightmare, huh? Another reason not to commit crime.
One of the super econisers was out on patrol, and he'd been shown a picture of a burglar, and he never met him. And he saw a fleeting glance on him, actually chased him, grabbed hold of him, arrested him, and the criminal said, this use of super econisers isn't fair, it should be regulated. But that's the highest praise, isn't it, when the criminal says, well done, I never thought you'd get me.
Yeah, that's as good as it gets.